In 1998, Google was a brand new company. In 1998, cell phones looked like this. In 1998, there was no Facebook, no YouTube. In 1998, FDA, AAFCO, and each state department of agriculture was fully aware that pet foods contain euthanized animals and took no regulatory action to stop it. 20 years later, Google is now the #1 website in the world, processing more than 40,000 searches every second. Facebook and YouTube are the #2 and 3 websites in the world. Cell phones are now smart. But 20 years later, the regulation of pet food remains the same. In 2018, FDA, AAFCO, and each state department of agriculture still does nothing to stop the common practice of euthanized animals being processed into pet food. For 20 years, a diseased animal or a non-slaughtered animal processed into pet food has been a direct violation of federal law. For 20 years, all regulatory authorities have ignored these laws. Actually, for 20 years, they have openly encouraged pet food manufacturers to use illegal ingredients. Right on the FDA website, the agency tells industry they will not enforce law. AAFCO writes the definitions of pet food ingredients with no requirement for any pet food ingredient to abide by federal or state law. And they don't even give consumers access to those definitions, charging $100 a year for any consumer to learn what is actually in their pet food. But that's another argument. State Department of Agriculture has laws specific to pet food that clearly state a diseased or non-slaughtered animal is a violation of law. But not one U.S. state enforces this law. Why? For 20 years, has law been ignored in pet food? FDA is supposed to enforce law. State Department of Agriculture, which makes up the membership of AAFCO, is supposed to enforce law. So why aren't they? Is the responsibility of enforcement of law just too much responsibility for FDA and State Department of Agriculture? Honestly, what is it going to take? FDA, State Department of Agriculture, and AAFCO? How long do pet food consumers have to wait for you to enforce law? How many pets have to be sick or die? 20 years is too long for us to wait.